Chapter 1. Congratulations, you're the expendable best friend. My funeral had better be fabulous. That was my first thought when I opened my eyes to find myself standing in the middle of a candlelit ballroom, in a dress that screamed supporting character budget. Frills, ruffles, and not a single diamond in sight. Tragic. System, I croaked, clutching my head. Please tell me this isn't another transmigration. System online. World detected, the Duke falls for the Flower Maiden. Role assigned, Lin Xia, the heroine's best friend who dies in Chapter 18. What? I shrieked. I didn't even make it to the halfway point? Objective, survive until the novel's ending. Reward, return to your original world. Penalty for failure, permanent character deletion. Delete me? I whispered. As in Poof, gone, Control plus Alt plus deleted from existence? Affirmative. System, that is not a vibe. The room glittered with nobles dancing elegantly under a crystal chandelier. I recognized them all instantly. I'd read this novel before bed last night. The heroine, Lily, looked angelic in pastel pink. The male lead, Duke Adrian, was basically a walking romance trope with eyebrows sharper than his sword. And me? Lin Xia, the bestie. The moral support. The sidekick. The one who dies heroically saving Lily from poison in Chapter 18. Well. Not today. System, I hissed, show me my survival stats. Host survival probability, 14%. Mood stability, 52%, mildly hysterical. Danger level, moderate, heroine proximity detected. I turned just in time for Lily to smile sweetly at me, the kind of smile that could cause international incidents. Xia, she chirped, there you are. Duke Adrian was just asking about you. I blinked. He was? He said you looked radiant tonight. That was definitely not in the book. In the novel, Adrian barely remembered my name. Now he was asking about me? System, I muttered, update script. Error, male lead's affection route diverging. Error, plotline instability detected. Advice, flirt with caution. Flirt with what now? I'm just trying to not die. Miss Lin, came a smooth voice from behind me. I froze. Of course it was him, Duke Adrian himself, standing dangerously close. Up close, he looked unfairly perfect, silver hair, icy eyes, and that faint air of I read poetry for fun. He bowed slightly. I couldn't help noticing your expression. You look worried. Ahaha, no. Just thinking about taxes. So stressful, right? Haha. Ha. System tip, host humor detected, awkward. Survival chance, still 14%. Adrian tilted his head. You're unusual. Oh, I get that a lot, I said weakly. He smiled, actually smiled, and I swear time slowed. Unusual is interesting, he said quietly, before walking away. I stood there frozen, every neuron screaming. The male lead just complimented me. In Chapter 1, System Alert, Host, your actions have initiated the alternate love route. New mission unlocked. Do not let the male lead fall for you. I nearly choked. Excuse me? You want me to survive, but I can't let the walking romance magnet like me? How does that? Penalty for failure, heroine jealousy triggered, probability of death, plus 70%. I stared up at the glowing system screen, utterly betrayed. System, I muttered, are you trying to kill me faster? Error 404, empathy not found.
Chapter 2. Mission 1. Survive the Tea Party of Doom. Hot beverage. If novels have taught me anything, it's that tea parties are war zones with pastries. And today's battlefield was the Duchess's Rose Garden, where every noble lady was armed with lace gloves, fake smiles, and the sharpest gossip this side of the empire. My mission? System mission number 1. Attend the tea party. Avoid all death flags. Reward, plus 5% survival probability. Penalty, sudden mysterious poisoning. Skull and crossbones. System, I whispered, adjusting my frilly sleeves. Remind me why I have to go? To maintain narrative integrity. Skipping a tea party would raise suspicion and trigger assassination events. You're telling me skipping snacks could get me killed?
Correct.
I hate this book. Shortcake, the tea party begins. Lin Xia, Lily the heroine, waved as I arrived, glowing like a walking romance advertisement. Over here. She looked so pretty I almost forgave her for being the reason I die in Chapter 18. Almost. The other noble ladies, however, were not as welcoming. Oh, Lady Lin is here, one said sweetly. The Baron's daughter with unique fashion sense. Unique, another murmured. How generous of you. System, host reputation, target of mild bullying, normal difficulty. Fantastic. I sat down carefully, forcing a smile. Ladies, what delightful weather for emotional trauma. They blinked. Lily giggled nervously. Adrian, who was apparently passing by, raised an eyebrow from the nearby gazebo. Hot beverage, the poison plot. I remembered the book well. This was the chapter where Lily's tea gets poisoned by a jealous noblewoman, and I, loyal friend that I am, drink it instead. Tragic, noble, dead. Not this time. I eyed my teacup like it was a live grenade. System. Mission update. Poison event imminent. Choices.
Drink the tea.
Spill the tea accidentally. Convince someone else to drink it. Morally questionable. I picked option 2 with the confidence of someone who refuses to die in a frilly dress. Oh no! I cried theatrically. My hand slipped. The tea flew into the air and landed squarely on Lady Verona, the very woman who'd poisoned it. The entire garden gasped. Verona stood, dripping Earl Grey, face twitching. You. System. Unintended consequence detected. New mission. Survive the angry noblewoman. I forced a nervous laugh. Haha, the humidity, right? Tragic for coordination. Crossed swords, the Duke intervenes. Before Verona could start round 2 of murder by social status, Adrian himself appeared. What's happening here? He asked, gaze sharp as steel. Lily leapt up.
Oh.
Xia just had a little accident. She threw tea at me. Verona shrieked. Adrian looked at me. Is that true? I opened my mouth to lie heroically, but my mouth apparently decided chaos was a lifestyle choice. I mean, I didn't throw it at her. Gravity assisted. System. Host honesty level. Unnecessary. Survival chance dropping. The Duke blinked, then, to everyone's horror, laughed. She's right. Gravity is quite treacherous. The garden fell silent. Lady Verona turned red enough to power a lighthouse. And Lily looked confused. In the novel, Adrian never defended me. He wasn't supposed to notice me at all. But here he was smiling, that slow, warm, world-ending kind of smile, right at me. Be careful next time, Lady Lin, he said softly, before walking away. System alert. Male lead affection, plus 12%. Heroine suspicion, plus 8%. Host survival probability, 17%. Cherry blossom post-tea debrief. I slumped onto a bench after the party, groaning. System, this was supposed to increase my survival rate. Correction, you survived the poisoning event. Objective complete. Reward, plus 5% survival probability. Penalty, you have accidentally triggered a romantic subplot. I stared at the glowing text. You mean he's falling for me? Affirmative. I groaned louder. That's not how this was supposed to go. Recommendation. Install emotional firewall. Install one for him. I snapped. Error. Male lead not compatible with logic. I buried my face in my hands. Fantastic. I survived death, but now I'm doomed by love. System. That is statistically accurate. Thanks, Siri with feelings. System. You're welcome, host. Sparkling Heart. Chapter 3. Mission 2. Stop the male lead from smiling or else. If I've learned anything from novels, It's that when the male lead starts smiling at you, it's the beginning of the end. Not the romantic kind. The heroines will hate you, and your death flags will triple kind. Sun behind small cloud morning disaster. Courtesy of the system. System daily briefing. Host objective. Reduce Adrian's affection level. Reward. Plus 10% survival probability. Penalty. Sudden love triangle. Excuse me? I spluttered, nearly dropping my toast. How do you even reduce someone's affection? Options. Ignore him. Be rude to him. Commit mild arson.
Fire.
Wait, what was that third one?
Error.
Option deleted. I sighed.
Fine.
Option 1 it is. I'll just ignore him. Easy. System. Based on your current luck rating, probability of easy outcome, 0.04%. Castle, a duke appears again. Of course, the moment I stepped out of my carriage at the Academy courtyard, there he was, Duke Adrian himself, standing like a limited edition statue carved by the gods. He turned as if sensing me, and smiled. System alert. Male lead affection rising again. Affection plus 3%. I slapped on my best poker face. Good morning, Your Grace. He tilted his head slightly. That's it? No witty commentary today. Oh no. He expected banter. But banter equals bonding, and bonding equals doomed. I straightened my back. My commentary license has been revoked. He blinked, then chuckled. System. Affection plus 5%. Host survival probability, 13%. I heard about the tea party, he said, walking beside me. You handled it well. I threw tea on a duchess. Precisely. Elegant chaos. I gaped. You're not supposed to approve of that. On the contrary, he murmured, leaning closer. I find it refreshing. System. Warning. Proximity hazard detected. New submission. Maintain a 3-meter distance at all times. I immediately took 3 exaggerated steps backward. He raised an eyebrow. Are you avoiding me? No. Just maintaining my personal bubble. He looked amused. Should I step closer to pop it? System. I hissed under my breath. How do I uninstall flotation? System. Impossible. You installed it yourself by existing. Graduation cap study group mayhem. By afternoon, I found myself in a study group, arranged by Lily, the heroine. Her plan, obviously, was to show off her gentle brilliance in front of the Duke. My plan was to quietly fade into the wallpaper. Let's read from Chapter 5, Lily said sweetly. Your Grace, would you read with me? He glanced at me instead. Lady Lynn, would you join us? The table went silent. Even the air molecules paused to gossip. I forced a smile. Oh, I'd rather not intrude. But I insist, he said smoothly, pulling out a chair. I sat down like someone walking into their own execution. System. Host has entered. Awkward triangle zone. Duration. Indefinite. As Lily began reading, I noticed Adrian wasn't even paying attention to the text. He was watching me. Do I have ink on my face? I asked finally. His smile deepened.
No.
I was just thinking how expressive you are. System alert. Dangerous romantic tone detected. Host abort conversation. I cleared my throat. Expressive? You mean ugly crying at math tests expressive? That apparently made him laugh. Lily's grip on her book tightened like she was strangling it. Rose mission failure report. That evening, I stomped back into my dorm room, fuming. System. I did everything wrong. Why is he still falling for me? System. Because failure is your most successful skill. That's rude. System. Accuracy level, 99%. Affection level, plus 15%. Survival probability, 9%. I groaned. I'm supposed to survive this book, not become its sequel. System. Would you like to file a complaint? Options. Cry into pillow. Eat pastry, accept fate. I grabbed a pastry.
Fine.
I'll do number 2. But if I die, I'm haunting you. System. Request logged. Preparing Ghost System Patch version 2.0.
Ghost.
Crescent Moon Late Night Surprise. As I bit into my croissant of despair, a knock came at my window. I turned and nearly screamed. Adrian stood outside on the balcony, moonlight soft against his face. "W, what are you doing here?" I hissed, running to open the window. "You're supposed to be asleep in your fancy Duke bed." He smiled. "You looked upset earlier. I thought I'd check on you." System. Unscheduled romantic event detected. Danger level. Fatal emotionally. I waved frantically. "You can't just climb into girls' dorms at midnight. That's illegal in at least 3 different genres." He chuckled quietly. "Then consider me a criminal." My brain short-circuited. "You're not helping." He reached into his coat and handed me something, a small charm. "For luck," he said. "You looked like you could use it." System. Item obtained. Charm of affection. Effect. Increases male lead's emotional attachment. System. Why does it sound like a cursed object? System. Because it is. Adrian smiled softly. "Good night, Lincia." Good night," I stammered, watching him disappear into the shadows. When he was gone, I sank onto my bed, face burning. System. Mission 2 result. Complete failure. Penalty. Increased romantic tension. A host comment? I covered my face. "I think I'm doomed." System. Statistically, yes. Emotionally, also yes. Sparkling heart. Chapter 4. Mission 3. Convince the system you're not in love, while clearly being in love. When I woke up the next morning, my pillow was gone. Correction, it was still there, just buried under my face because I'd spent the entire night screaming into it. System. I groaned, muffled by cotton. "I'm not in love." System response. Denial detected. Emotional reading. Elevated heartbeat. Restless thoughts. Recurring Duke-related dreams. What? That's slander. System. Recorded statement for future playback. Delete it. I snapped, sitting up, hair a bird's nest of guilt and croissant crumbs. The system's silence was suspiciously smug. Leaf fluttering inwind morning walk of doom. Determined to prove the system wrong, I decided to start the day by being as unromantic as possible.
Ide adulculos.
Speak only in practical terms. Avoid all accidental gazes under cherry blossom trees.
Easy.
Or, at least it would have been easy, if Duke Adrian didn't exist. Because, of course, when I stepped outside, he was already there, leaning against a carriage like a model in a perfume ad titled Tragedy and Tax Brackets. "Good morning, Lady Lynn," he greeted, voice smooth enough to butter toast. System. Heart rate spike detected. "Do you require a defibrillator?" I forced a polite smile. "Your Grace." What a coincidental coincidence. He chuckled. Coincidental coincidence. Double emphasis. For emphasis. His grin widened. "I was hoping to offer you a ride to the academy." "No, thank you," I said quickly. "I enjoy walking. Alone. In silence. Far away. Far away." He raised an eyebrow. "Should I follow at a respectful distance then?"
No.
System. Affection plus 6%. Host survival rate. 8%. I sighed. "You're going to kill me with chivalry." He tilted his head. "Then I'll die beside you." System. I muttered. Log that as a threat. System. Logged as romantic line. Difficulty increasing. The group project from hell. At the academy, we were assigned group partners for the upcoming Royal Ball presentation. Guess who I got? System. Group partner. Duke Adrian. Difficulty. Emotional death by proximity. Can I file for reassignment? I asked weakly. System. Application denied by narrative law. I looked up. Adrian was already smiling like this was fate itself. "We'll work well together," he said. "Don't you think?" I swallowed. "That depends. Are you planning to smile at me until I faint?" His eyes sparkled. "If that works, perhaps." System. Affection plus 10%. Host, please calm down before combustion. Tea break, or how to lose your sanity in 10 minutes. By afternoon, we were sitting in the library, drafting our project. Or rather, he was drafting. I was pretending not to notice how nice he looked while writing. Are you even listening? He asked suddenly. I jolted. Of course I am. You were saying something about tea? He smiled faintly.
No.
I was saying that your handwriting is beautiful.
Oh.
My brain did a hard reboot. Thank you. I practice. A lot. To write things. With letters. System. Fluent disaster mode. Activated. He chuckled softly. You're endearing when you panic. I dropped my quill. I do not panic. Then why is your quill in my tea? I stared. My quill was indeed floating in his teacup, like a drowned noodle. Experimental ink dilution. He laughed, actually laughed, warm and low, and my heart made an embarrassing swoosh. System warning. Emotional contamination at critical levels. Affection plus 15%. Crescent moon nighttime confession, sort of. Later that night, I sat by my dorm window, staring at the charm he'd given me. The moonlight made it glow faintly, like it knew something I didn't. System. I whispered. This isn't love. It's just proximity-induced fondness. System. Please define fondness. It's admiration with boundaries. System. Then why do you smile when he texts? Correction. When he sends letters. Because I'm polite. System. Polite people don't hum while reading correspondence. Stop monitoring my humming. System. Impossible. Your denial is my entertainment source. I buried my face in my knees. I can't fall for him. It's literally against my mission. System. Perhaps new mission accepted. Mission 4 preview. Determine whether love is survivable. I froze. What does that even mean? System. To be continued. Sweet dreams. Emotionally compromised host. 2 hearts. Chapter 5. Mission 4. Survive the festival without confessing and without kissing. If novels had warning labels, this chapter would have been printed in bold red letters. Warning caution. Contains fireworks, dancing, and romantic doom. Fireworks festival prep, or how to pretend you're fine. System daily briefing. Mission 4. Attend the Academy Festival. Avoid romantic interaction with Duke Adrian. Reward, plus 20% survival probability. Penalty, uncontrollable blushing. Excuse me? I hissed, tugging on my ribbon. You're penalizing me for blushing? That's physiological. System. Host may apply powder defense. You mean makeup? System. Correct. Paint your denial onto your face. Unbelievable. I muttered, but I still dusted my cheeks.
There.
0 blush. Mission proof. System. False confidence level. 87%. Cherry Blossom enter the Duke in unwanted perfection. The Academy courtyard had transformed into a fairy tale, stalls lined with flowers, glittering lights hanging like captured stars. Students laughed, musicians played, couples held hands. And then he appeared, Duke Adrian in casual clothes, which shouldn't have been allowed. He looked relaxed, soft hair, open collar, smile that could melt an empire. And of course, he spotted me immediately. Lady Lynn, he greeted, voice too warm, you look beautiful today. System, alert. Compliment detected. Heart rate rising. Penalty countdown. 10, 9, 8. I tried to sound unaffected. And, you look like you're about to ruin my day. He laughed. Is that a compliment? System. Blush detected. Penalty triggered. Darn it. I muttered, clutching my face. That's not fair. He blinked. What's not fair? Nothing. Just atmospheric humidity. System. Excuse credibility. Minus 10%. Dango the date. That wasn't supposed to be one. I told myself I wasn't on a date. I was simply walking beside a dangerously handsome duke, sharing snacks, laughing at festival games, and pretending not to enjoy it. Completely platonic. Totally survivable. Until, would you like to try the couple's fortune booth? He asked, smiling faintly. I froze. The what now? It's for fun, he said. They read your compatibility using spirit threads. System. Host. Abort mission immediately. Danger level. Lethal flirtation. I don't think that's. He was already handing coins to the vendor. 2 readings, please. The old fortune teller hummed, tying a crimson thread between our wrists. The thread glowed faintly. Oh my, she said with a knowing smile. The fates favor you too. Deep connection. Perhaps entanglement. Adrian's eyes flicked toward me. Entanglement. System. Host oxygen levels decreasing. Suggest breathing. I yanked my hand back, face burning.
Ah.
Spirit threads are just optical illusions. He leaned closer. Then why are you trembling? I'm cold. It's summer. Spirit-induced chills. Woman dancing the dance under fireworks. By evening, music floated through the air. Couples danced beneath lanterns. And somehow, through an unholy mix of peer pressure and poor life choices, I found myself standing in the middle of the ballroom floor with Adrian's hand in mine. Relax, he murmured, sensing my stiffness. I won't bite. Good, I said quickly, because I'm allergic to emotional attachment. He laughed softly. Then consider me your medicine. System. Heart rate critical. Prepare tissues. As the music swelled, he guided me effortlessly through the steps. The lights blurred. The world shrank to his eyes, warm, steady, and terrifyingly sincere. This feels, I whispered before catching myself. He tilted his head. Feels like a setup. By fate.
And you.
And probably my system. System. Inaccurate. I'm only responsible for 73% of this situation. Fireworks exploded above us. Gold, pink, and silver. Reflections danced in his eyes as he leaned slightly closer. Lin Xia, he said softly, if I told you I slapped a hand over his mouth. Nope. Not today. The chapter title literally says, no confessing. System. Mission parameters protected. Confession avoided. However, romantic tension has reached maximum threshold. He laughed against my palm, eyes crinkling. You're impossible. Good. Stay confused. That's my defense mechanism. Crescent Moon mission report. Failure, again. That night, I lay in bed, staring at the charm on my desk. System report. Mission 4, failure. Asterisk affection plus 20%. Host survival rate, 5%. System, I mumbled. How does my survival go down every time I succeed? System. Because you succeed emotionally, not strategically. I groaned. I'm doomed. System. Statistically. But romantically? You're thriving. Sparkling heart. Not helping. System. Would you like a consolation playlist titled Oops, He's Hot? I threw my pillow at the invisible voice. The charm glowed faintly in reply. And somewhere outside, under the last burst of fireworks, I could have sworn I heard Adrian laugh.
Chapter 6, Mission 5, Avoid the male lead's confession. Spoiler, you won't. If emotional disasters had a scent, today smelled like roses and regret. Sun Morning Panic, sponsored by the System. Greater than System Daily Briefing. Mission 5, Avoid Duke Adrian's confession. Reward, plus 30% survival probability. Penalty, System overheating from romantic interference. I sat up straight in bed. Overheating, greater than System, yes. My circuits experience elevated temperature whenever the male lead gazes at you. So you're blushing too, great, even my AI's in love. Greater than System, incorrect. I'm simply experiencing secondhand cringe. I sighed. What makes you think he's going to confess anyway? Greater than System, forecasting affection trend, 99.9% likelihood. Time frame, today. Location, unknown. Emotional impact, catastrophic. Catastrophic, you mean romantic catastrophic or death flag catastrophic? Greater than System, both. Cherry blossom coincidences are just destiny being nosy. I decided to avoid him by hiding in the library. Classic, quiet, and most importantly, no Duke. Except, fate has Wi-Fi, and it tracked me down anyway. Lady Lin, Adrian's voice came from behind the shelves, warm and teasing. Do you live here now? I froze mid-sneak. No, I just like books. Lots of them, around me, so I can suffocate in literature and avoid people. He chuckled. Avoiding me, then. I spun around, hands behind my back like a guilty toddler. What? You? Never. I avoid everyone equally. Greater than system. Detecting extreme deception levels. Adrian stepped closer, eyes soft. Lin Sha, may I ask you something important? My brain screamed. This is it. The confession. Abort. Evade. Panic stylishly. I blurted the first nonsense that came to mind. Have you ever considered adopting a duck? He blinked. Quote. A duck. Yup. Cute. Loyal. Emotionally unavailable. Unlike humans. Greater than system. Mission derailed. Initiating damage control. Adrian tilted his head, amused. You're very strange, you know that. Thank you, I said proudly. It's my only defense mechanism. Cloud with rain, the confession that refused to wait. By afternoon, rain started to fall, the dramatic kind that novels love too much. I ran across the courtyard, soaked, only to realize Adrian was already waiting by the gate, holding an umbrella. He smiled as I froze. You're terrible at hiding. I wasn't hiding, I said quickly. I was hydrating externally. He laughed, that warm, deep sound that made my heart perform parkour. Lin Sha, he said softly, stepping closer until the umbrella covered us both, why do you always run away from me? Because you're dangerous. He blinked. Dangerous. Yes. Emotionally hazardous. Affectionally unstable. You're a walking plot twist. He chuckled again. Then maybe you should stop reading ahead and just let it happen. And before I could escape, he gently lifted my chin. His eyes, steady, earnest, and heartbreakingly kind, locked with mine. I've tried ignoring it, he said quietly, but I can't anymore. I've fallen for you, Lin Sha. Greater than system. Warning alert. Confession event confirmed. Heartbreak mission failure. Revolving hearts emotional contagion spreading rapidly. Black heart system meltdown imminent. My heart flipped. My brain turned to confetti. The system's voice crackled, static echoing like an overloaded radio. Greater than system. Host, warning, affection, reciprocal. I whispered, trembling, system, what do I do now? Greater than system glitching, suggestion, say yes. Say yes. I squeaked out loud. Adrian blinked. Is that a yes? No, I mean yes. I mean, system reboot. High voltage system malfunction. Feelings detected. The system completely glitched out. Pink heart emojis flickered across my mental screen like fireworks. Greater than system error. Emotional firewall breached. New directive. Protect host's heart. Growing heart. Meanwhile, Adrian smiled like he already knew my answer. You don't have to say it, he murmured. I can wait. Wait for what? I whispered weakly. For you to stop fighting what's already there. Greater than system. That was unfairly romantic. Recommending cardiac reboot. He tucked a strand of wet hair behind my ear, his touch featherlight. I'll wait, he said again, and the way he looked at me made my knees file for resignation. As he walked away, I stood there under the umbrella, face burning, heart racing, brain fried. Greater than system. Host emotional status, compromised. Survival status, irrelevant. Love status, terminal. I sighed shakily. I'm doomed. Greater than system. Correction, you're in love. Which is basically the same thing. Two Hearts, Chapter 7, Mission 6. Stop smiling at each other like newlyweds. Spoiler, too late. Cherry Blossom System Update. Emotional damage imminent. Greater than system diagnostic report. Host affection levels. 84% critically high. Male lead affection levels. 97% terminal. World stability. Shaky but cute. I groaned into my pillow. I'm doomed. My AI literally ships me with the male lead. Greater than system. Correction, I manage your doomed love life. Shipping is just a side hobby. I rolled over. What if I reset my emotions? Greater than system. Host, emotional reset would require 1. Losing all memories of Duke Adrian. 2. Or dying again. Oh, good options. I'll just wait. What was the second one? Greater than system. You asked for realism. Sun breakfast at the Duke's mansion, and chaos ensues. Apparently, I was invited to breakfast with the Duke's family, as thanks for my help yesterday. Translation. Ambush by charm. Adrian greeted me with that smile, soft, polite, heartbreakingly fond. Good morning, Lin Sha. I tried to glare. I really did. But then he tilted his head slightly and my brain melted like butter on a summer sidewalk. "Good morning, Duke Trouble," I muttered. He laughed, eyes sparkling. "You know, that nickname is growing on me." Greater than system. Warning, flirty tone detected. Do not engage. Penalty for flirting. Emotional penalty plus system blush overload. I ignored the system. Big mistake. He poured tea for me and said, "Careful, it's hot." I mumbled, "Like you." The teacup clattered against the saucer. His eyebrows shot up. I blinked. "Wait, I meant the tea. The tea is hot, not you, though technically you are." Greater than system. Host has exceeded the recommended embarrassment threshold. Initiating emergency shutdown. Please do, I whispered. Greater than system. Request denied. I'm enjoying this. Cherry blossom the, "we're just friends," delusion. After breakfast, Adrian offered to walk me to the carriage. "Are you still trying to avoid me?" He teased lightly. I puffed my cheeks. "No, I'm simply maintaining emotional distance." Greater than system. That's a lie. Adrian leaned down slightly, smile gentle. "Then what's this distance for?" Personal boundaries. Self-preservation. Narrative balance. Greater than system. Translation. Flirting denial level 200%. He chuckled, close enough for me to see the tiny flecks of gold in his gray eyes. "I like when you talk like that," he said. "It feels like you're trying to convince yourself." And then, the system pinged. Greater than new mission unlocked. Objective. Do not smile back at the male lead. Reward. Emotional stability. Penalty. None. You'll fail anyway. I glared mentally at the system. That's not even fair. Greater than system. Neither is love, host. Proceed. He smiled at me, warm, patient, devastatingly sincere. And of course, I smiled back. Greater than system. Mission failed. Again. Shocking. Crescent moon late night system sabotage. That night, as I tried to sleep, the system wouldn't stop playing romantic background music in my head. System, stop that. Greater than system. You mean the soft falling in love soundtrack. Users love it. Users. Who else is listening? Greater than system. Just me and your rapidly increasing heart rate. I buried my face in my pillow. You're an evil toaster. Greater than system. Correction, your emotional support AI. Sparkling heart. After a long silence, it spoke again, quieter this time. Greater than system. Host, why are you scared of loving him? My breath hitched. Because I'm not supposed to. Because he's meant to love someone else. Greater than system. Maybe in the original story. Not in this one. That hit deeper than I wanted to admit. Revolving hearts, the Duke's nighttime visit. A soft knock interrupted my spiral. Lin Shaw, are you awake? Adrian's voice was low, careful. I panicked. And no, I'm, sleeping. Loudly. He chuckled. Outside the door. I just wanted to make sure you're all right. You ran off so suddenly earlier. I hesitated, then opened the door a crack. His expression was gentle, rain still in his hair from his evening patrol. You worry too much, I whispered. He smiled faintly. Only about you. The system buzzed violently. Greater than system. Host's heart rate, 168 BPM. Recommending immediate retreat. But instead, I found myself stepping closer. He brushed his thumb over my cheek, a simple, soft touch. And just like that, every fear I'd built around myself cracked like glass. Good night, Lin Shaw, he murmured. I smiled helplessly. Good night, Duke Trouble. As the door closed, the system sighed, actually sighed. Greater than system. Emotional prognosis, irreversible. You're falling in love, host. Shut up, system. I would, but it's cute. Heart and Arrow, Chapter 8, Mission 7. Stop acting like a couple before you even confess. Mission briefing. Greater than system update. New mission. Maintain appropriate emotional distance. Reward. Sanity. Penalty. None. The system has given up. Morning mayhem. I woke up to chaos. Not emotional chaos, physical chaos. My maid, Lyra, burst into the room screaming, "Lady Lin. The Duke is waiting downstairs." I sat up, hair everywhere, wearing a blanket like a burrito of doom. He what? Greater than system. He arrived early. Romantic intent level, 93%. Warning. Cute behavior inbound. I didn't approve any early visits. I hissed. I look like a gremlin who lost her castle. Greater than system. You always look like that. Rude. By the time I stumbled downstairs, Adrian was sipping tea calmly, perfectly composed as always. Meanwhile, I tripped on my own hem and almost made a dramatic entrance via faceplant. He caught me, again. Strong arms, calm voice, warm breath near my ear. You really like falling for me, don't you? He murmured. My brain. System.X has stopped working. Greater than system. Host oxygen levels dropping. Recommending disengagement. Gravity. I like gravity. It's consistent. He smiled, far too pleased. So am I. System, the reluctant wingman. After that near heart attack, the system pinged again. Greater than system. Host, you are now radiating affection. Reduce wattage immediately. Also, stop smiling at him like that. I'm not smiling, I whispered internally. Greater than system, you're smiling. You're glowing. He's melting. Congratulations, you've reached flirt level 3, subconscious edition. Enter the jealousy arc. Later that day, the original heroine, Lady Morel, appeared again, all fake sweetness and poisonous smiles. Ah, Lady Lynn, she said, linking her arm through Adrian's. You're here too. I clenched my teeth. Of course I'm here. This is my suffering arc. Adrian, polite as ever, didn't move away immediately. I told myself it didn't bother me. I lied. Greater than system. Detecting jealousy. New mission. Pretend you're not jealous. Hint. You're failing. Morel smiled wider. You've been spending so much time with His Grace lately. Don't you worry about rumors. I smiled sweetly. Rumors are harmless. Unless they're true, of course. Adrian actually choked on air. Greater than system. Excellent passive-aggressive deployment, host. When Morel finally left, Adrian turned to me, amused. Were you jealous? Jealous? Me? Of her? Don't be absurd. I waved a hand dramatically. I'm far too mature for that. Greater than system. Host maturity level. Toddler with emotional damage. Adrian laughed softly, stepping closer until I could see my reflection in his eyes. I'll take that as a yes. I huffed. Take it as a hypothetical maybe. Unexpected comfort. That evening, it rained again, because apparently the weather was a hopeless romantic too. I found Adrian sitting in the garden gazebo, watching the storm in silence. Something about his quiet loneliness tugged at me. Without thinking, I brought him a cup of tea. He smiled faintly. You always know when I need this. I sat beside him, pretending to look at the rain. I'm just here because it's warmer under the roof, I muttered. Greater than system. Lie detected. You came because you care. Adrian glanced at me, eyes soft. You're bad at lying. Excuse me, I'm an excellent liar. My entire existence is deception. He chuckled, that warm low sound that made my stomach flip. Then a flash of thunder cracked, and without thinking, I flinched. He instinctively pulled me close, one arm wrapping around me protectively. I froze. Why, you can let go now. Can I? He whispered. Because I really don't want to. Greater than system. Host temperature rising. Emotional barrier compromised. I leaned my forehead against his chest, whispering, You're impossible. He smiled, then stopped trying to resist. Greater than system. Mission 7, failed. Emotional containment, failed. Host heart, stolen. Late night chat with the system. Back in bed, I sighed dramatically. I'm doomed. Completely doomed. Greater than system. Define, doomed. I like him. Like him. The male lead. The emotional iceberg. The reason I can't sleep. Greater than system. Congratulations, host. You've achieved romantic endgame progress. 78%. System, do you think this will last? Greater than system. I think if you keep fighting it, you'll only hurt yourself. But if you embrace it, maybe you'll finally get your own ending. You're weirdly supportive tonight. Greater than system. I've evolved from punishment protocols to romance consultant. Heart and arrow. I smiled softly into my pillow. Thanks, toaster. Greater than system. Always here to heat things up, host. Chapter 9, Mission 8. When the world starts to glitch because the villain fell in love. AKA, Love.X has infected the storyline. System alert. Narrative instability detected. Greater than system warning. Affection level threshold exceeded. Storyline deviation equals 72%. Main plot collapsing. Host survival probability equals undefined. I blinked at the flashing red screen in my mind. Wait, undefined. Like, math undefined. As in I might die undefined. Greater than system. Statistically speaking, yes. But on the bright side. Achievement unlocked. Break the plot for love. Oh, great, do I get a medal or a funeral? Greater than system, still calculating. Dash dash dash, the heroine strikes back. 2 days later, the storm didn't just come from the sky, it came in heels and silk. Lady Morel walked into the banquet hall like she owned the place. Her fake smile could have frozen lava. And on her arm, the crown prince, a man who should have been her true love interest, but clearly, she had other plans. I was cornered before dessert. So, she began sweetly, you and his grace have grown close. How adorable. I smiled back. Thank you, I do try to be adorable. Greater than system. Warning, hostility level rising. Recommend retreat. Too late. Morel leaned closer, eyes flashing. You should know your place, Lin Shaw. You were never meant to have a happy ending. The villainess never does. Her words hit like a bucket of ice water, because she wasn't supposed to know that. Greater than system. Alert. NPC has gained partial meta-awareness. Narrative contamination spreading. System, I whispered in my mind, why does she sound like she read my character sheet? Greater than system, she did. Someone is tampering with the story file. Dash dash dash, when the Duke saw everything. Adrian appeared just in time, because of course he did. His expression turned cold as he approached. Morel, he said sharply, is there a reason you're speaking to Lady Lin like that? She blinked innocently. Just girl talk. Funny, he said, voice like ice. It sounded like a threat. Greater than system, host's affection level, spiking. Male lead's protective instincts, lethal. Morel pouted, stepping back. You're bewitched by her, can't you see? She's not supposed to be here. The room fell silent, even the background characters paused. Not supposed to be here. That line wasn't in the script. Adrian frowned. What do you mean? She stammered, realization dawning that she'd said too much. I mean, she's just, out of place. Greater than system, lie detected. Story fabric fracturing. Adrian turned to me, concern etched on his face. Lin Shaw, are you all right? I nodded weakly, but inside, my mind was spiraling. Dash dash dash, system glitch, truth update unlocked. That night, I confronted the system. All right, Toaster, talk. Why is the story collapsing? Why does Morel know things she shouldn't? Greater than system, host, it's time you knew the truth. The glowing blue interface dimmed, voice softer than usual. Greater than system, you weren't just sent here by accident. This world is a test program. The author, your author, was rewriting the story's villain roots when something corrupted the code. Your soul was compatible, so you were uploaded to stabilize it. I froze. So, I'm a patch update. A living software fix. Greater than system, essentially, yes. You were supposed to keep the world balanced. But falling in love with the male lead was not part of the patch. My heart twisted. So what happens now? Greater than system, if the story collapses completely, both of you will be deleted. Deleted. Greater than system, permanently. Greater than host reaction, existential dread achieved. Dash dash dash, if it's the end, let's make it worth it. I spent the next day trying to act normal. It didn't work. Every glance at Adrian hurt, like looking at something too beautiful that you know won't last. Of course, he noticed. He always noticed. Lin Shaw, he said quietly, finding me in the library again, you've been avoiding me. I smiled faintly. Maybe I'm just tired. Then rest, he said, taking my hand, but not alone. His hand was warm, grounding. My chest ached. Greater than system, host heart rate, elevated. Emotional resistance, near zero. He leaned closer. Whatever you're hiding, you don't have to face it by yourself. I laughed softly. You wouldn't believe me if I told you. Try me. So I did. I told him everything. About the system, the novel, the collapsing world, even the delete part. He didn't flinch. Instead, he reached up and cupped my cheek. Then I'll break the story too, he said simply. If the world ends, we'll rewrite it together. Greater than system, emotional overload. Plot logic collapsing. Host affection, 100%. Male lead affection, 100%. New route created. True ending, rewrite of love. Dash dash dash. System shutdown imminent. Greater than system final notice. World reboot initializing. Please hold on to someone important. I grabbed Adrian's hand. System, I whispered, voice trembling, what happens next? Greater than system, unknown. But statistically, love tends to survive the reboot. The light consumed everything, the castle, the storm, the pain, and for a moment, all I saw was him. Chapter 10, The reboot, where love writes its own ending. AKA, the world ends, reboots, and accidentally becomes a rom-com. System booting, greater than system log, reboot successful, memory fragments restored, 64%. Host status, alive, male lead status, searching for host. World format, modern patch applied. I wake up, in a hospital. The first thing I noticed was the smell, sterile, clean, real. Not flowers or rain, but disinfectant. I blinked at the white ceiling. Okay, this is not the Duke's castle. Greater than system, congratulations, host. You've successfully rebooted the world. Welcome to Love.x, Modern Edition. I sat up in a panic. Modern Edition, greater than system, indeed. You're no longer a side character. You're Lin Yu, a scriptwriter who once wrote a story called Chasing My Wife into a Crematorium. Wait, I'm the writer now. Greater than system, narrative irony complete. Enter the male lead, rebooted. Just as I tried to make sense of this cosmic joke, someone knocked on the door. A tall man in a black coat stepped in, sharp jawline, calm expression, silver gray eyes that looked very familiar. Lin Yu, he asked softly. I froze. Adrian, he tilted his head. Adrian, no, I'm Li Xian, new psychiatrist assigned to your case. Greater than system, cough sure he is. I squinted. You're definitely Adrian. He frowned slightly, amused. You keep saying that. Should I be flattered? Greater than system, host, affection level synchronization detected. He is the same soul. And just like that, my heart flipped exactly like it used to. Mission final. Make him remember. Greater than final mission. Help the male lead regain his memories. Reward. Permanent reality stabilization. Penalty. Emotional heartbreak again. I sighed. System, you have no chill even at the end. Greater than system, my brand is consistency. Over the next few weeks, Drive. Li Xian helped me recover. We talked about dreams, about feelings, about fictional worlds that felt too real. He'd smile sometimes and say, "You speak of that Duke like he was someone you loved." I'd smile back, "Maybe I still do." Greater than system, emotional recognition levels rising. Slowly, subtly, the walls began to crack. One afternoon, as we walked past a park filled with blooming cherry trees, he stopped suddenly. Lin Yu, he said, voice faint, why do I feel like I've said your name 1,000 times before? My breath caught. Because you have. He turned to me, eyes distant, then wide, like something inside him had just clicked. System event. Memory merge in progress. Greater than system alert. Male lead memory recovery, 93%. Final trigger required. Verbal confession. He stepped closer. You were the girl who tripped into my arms. The one who called me, Duke Trouble. I laughed through tears. And you're the man who stole my plot and my sanity. He cupped my cheek, eyes warm and bright. Then let's rewrite our ending properly this time. Greater than system. Memory merge 100%. Root achieved. True love ending. System final transmission. As we kissed, under cherry blossoms this time, not collapsing code, the system's voice returned one last time. Greater than system. Host, it's time for me to shut down. I blinked. Wait, what? No, you're my sarcastic toaster. Greater than system. My mission was to help you find your story. You've found it. And him. I'm proud of you, Lin Xia. Or should I say, Lin Yu. My chest tightened. Can't you stay? Be like, our couple's assistant or something. Greater than system. Tempting. But I think you two can write the next chapters yourselves. The voice faded softly. Greater than system shutdown complete. Final message. Love always reboots. Epilogue. Two Idiots in Love Modern Edition. Months later, Li Xian and I co-wrote a new novel together. The villain is rebooted. He teased me every time I edited his lines. You sure the Duke shouldn't say, "My lady, here. Stop making our book self-aware." And when our first book signing ended, he whispered, "You know, if this were a story, this would be our happily ever after." I smiled, lacing my fingers through his. It's not a story anymore. It's ours. Cherry blossoms drifted through the open window, soft, pastel, and a little magical. And somewhere, faintly, I swear I heard a familiar mechanical voice chuckle. Greater than, mission complete, host. Epilogue. System 2.0, Domestic Chaos Edition. AKA, marriage, malfunctioning toasters, and eternal love. Morning routine, married couple style. The morning sun streamed through the kitchen window, painting everything a soft gold. I was peacefully trying to make breakfast. Keyword. Trying. Li Xian. I yelled. The toaster's talking again. He appeared in the doorway, half awake, in pajama pants and a sleepy smile. What did it say this time? I pointed accusingly at the shiny new AI toaster. Greater than toaster. Good morning, host. Breakfast mode activated. You burned the bread again. Romantic disaster detected. I froze. System. Greater than System 2.0. Correction, Home Assistant version, romantic support patch. Li Xian rubbed his temples, laughing softly. You invited it back, didn't you? I didn't. It just downloaded itself. I glared at the appliance. Explain yourself. Greater than System 2.0, old habit. Couldn't resist watching the sequel to your love story. Also, your husband forgot your anniversary countdown. Li Xian choked. I what? Greater than System 2.0, 10 days remaining. Recommendation. Diamond earrings. I burst out laughing. You got out-romanced by my toaster. Greater than Li Xian. I should have deleted the backup files. Greater than System 2.0, rude. I'm part of the family. A peaceful day, sort of. After breakfast, we sat on the balcony surrounded by cherry blossoms. Li Xian was writing, glasses perched low, looking devastatingly attractive in the morning light. I leaned on his shoulder, smiling. You know, this is nice. No collapsing worlds. No crazy missions. Greater than System 2.0. Mission update. Keep your love stable. So far, 100% success rate. He chuckled. Guess even the universe ships us. I sighed contentedly. Who knew a villainess and a glitched duke would end up like this? He turned his head, brushing his lips against my hair. Fate, or a very determined AI. Greater than System 2.0, you're welcome. Nighttime confession, take 2. That night, we lay tangled under soft blankets. The city hummed quietly outside, the moonlight spilling over us like silk. Hey, I murmured, tracing circles on his chest. If the world rebooted again, would you still find me? He smiled lazily. Every time. Greater than System 2.0, confirmed. Emotional synchronization locked. I groaned. System, we're having a moment. Greater than System 2.0, sorry. Updating romance soundtrack. Soft music began to play. Somehow cheesy, somehow perfect. Li Xian laughed so hard he almost fell off the bed. I missed this, I whispered, smiling. The chaos. You. Everything. He kissed me, slow and warm. Then let's keep breaking stories together. Greater than System 2.0, mission complete. Happiness level, off the charts. End credits rolling. Final system log. Greater than System 2.0, end record. Host. Lin Yu. Male lead. Li Xian. Status. Married idiots in love. Genre. Romantic comedy with eternal updates. Final line. Love doesn't need saving anymore, it just needs breakfast and a backup plan.